Hi guys, you're going to have to forgive the rough editing and commentary on this, but I just want to take a quick look at some of the footage from last week and we can hopefully see what we did well and a few things that we could do a little better. So the first thing to look at is our spacing on the field. So you can see here we've got pretty good horizontal movement. We're well spread across the field, but look how far we are from the disc. It takes away our options to hit something deep early on really quickly. Okay, then we move it a little bit, and here, yep, coming in, and then we see that if we look here, everything is skewed over towards that side of the field. We've got a lot going on in that same third. Cutters maybe a little bit too deep. Could have come off with a perfect throw. This next section, we've just got to turn. Our cutters are probably, well, they're hanging out a little bit too deep. They need to get back into position quicker to give us the under and the deep shots and not giving each other the width properly. We can see we're all quite close to that sideline, and the deepest cutter has got a few steps, but he's already quite deep and really forces the thrower to have to put a little more on it than they really can, which is always going to make that more difficult. We've got a similar situation here where our deep cut goes just a little too early. It's really tempting because they've got a couple steps, but by the time the thrower is ready to throw, they're already so deep, it would have to be an absolute bullet to get out in front. This one here, just showing you that it's not just us that do it. It's very tempting whenever a deep player's got a few steps, but if they're already going from deep, the defense is usually always going to get on it. This next one I really like, even though it doesn't quite come off. It's a good early aggressive look like we talked about taking. Defense isn't set yet, we see an opportunity. I know the cutter is quite deep already, but there's a lot of space to hit. Maybe don't need to try and throw as far as we possibly can. If you get a quicker throw out into that medium space, then maybe it would have been a completion. And this next one is probably one of our nicest scores of the day. Again, the cutter is deep, but there's a lot of space. Crucially, there's a lot of space to throw into. It's done aggressively and early. Here we've got a nice bit of zone play, which also relates to spacing and finding an area on the pitch where we can be hit. Moving the disc pretty well, and we get to here, and all of our players are all in space. And this is the space that we want to preserve in a zone. If you're not being marked there, stay still. But we all move, and the moment's gone, which is fine. The handlers then just continue to move the disc around, wait until we get into another good position. And we see just about here that happens again, where everyone's in good space. We exploit it this time, put the disc over the top, and then move through. Okay, time to talk about our defense. We have a tendency sometimes, especially in the transitions, to look back at the disc and not be so aware where our man is. We need to always try and reset to the open, reposition ourselves to the open side. You can see here that the defender is not on the open side, and even the other two on the sideline are a little too close. They should be thinking about, can they get further to the open side? And that lets the pass go out. Admittedly, gets close enough to put pressure on, and there's a turn, which is great. Here we've got a similar situation where the far side handler was set up level instead of going to the open side. It's just a little thing about positioning, but it does mean that they get this pass a lot easier than they should do. So we need to try and make sure that we put ourselves in the right position while there's a stoppage quickly. Here we've got a really smart piece of defense coming up, poaching into that lane, taking out the dangerous spaces, but getting a little too sucked into looking at the disc. communication could have helped. But it stops them from taking the first easy pass. We still get the block anyway, so it's good. Now, just some good tight bandy. People are paying attention to their own matchups, putting pressure on all the way through, and it results in a turn for us.